Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Humans in 5.
Imagine this scenario. A new disease has emerged. People aren't sure about what to do or exactly where this disease has come from. What they do know is that it's sweeping across the land, causing widespread illness and leading to increased mortality. Some people in communities isolate themselves, and there's much debate about how to deal with this new reality. Sounds a little familiar?
Except in this case, we're thinking about the Black Death. The Black Death was a pandemic or widespread occurrence of a particular disease that impacted Europe, Asia, and North Africa in the mid-1300s. It was caused by the widespread transmission of the pathogen Yersinia pestis. It was known at the time as the pestilence or the Great Mortality.
Humans have lived through several pandemics before our current COVID scenario. On top of the Black Death, other major episodes include the Justinian Plague, which affected the Roman Empire and was also caused by Yersinia pestis, as well as the 1918 flu pandemic.
As our COVID situation continues, members of the public are getting more and more curious about how these past pandemics affected historic populations, and whether we can draw any important parallels to our situation today. While for some people this fascination is new, there have been several anthropologists over the years who have taken a deep dive into past pandemics to see what information they might provide to help us fight future instances of such diseases.
In particular, Sharon DeWitte has written several articles on how past pandemics can inform future ones. Often people talk about pandemics and plagues as indiscriminate waves of disease. In our day-to-day talk, we know that with the high mortality rates of these past plagues, they must have impacted a large number of people as they spread around the world.
The thing is, the research of DeWitte and others reveals that at these past time points, the patterning of deaths among the population was not random. Past people varied in their susceptibility of catching the Black Death and in dying from the disease. Those experiencing poverty, lower socioeconomic status, malnutrition, other diseases or conditions, or those in older age categories were more likely to not survive this episode.
This non-random distribution of disease experiences and mortality in past pandemics completely mirrors our situation. Where data are available, one of the most important takeaways is that this pandemic is not an indiscriminate wave equally affecting all in its path. People who are living in marginalized and racialized communities who have had systemic interferences with their ability to access healthcare are bearing the brunt of this disease.
In a 2016 paper, DeWitte outlines some lessons that we can learn from past pandemics, and as we currently live through one, they ring true today. The best way to avoid a future pandemic or mitigate its effects is to determine who might be at most at risk with a new wave of disease and work to reduce socioeconomic inequalities, like access to healthcare, access to adequate nutrition, and the allocation of resources to those most in need might make a real difference in limiting the inequality of mortality in communities that have been left on the margins for too long.
We hope this has given you a view into what we can learn from the past when it comes to pandemics, and we'll see you next time on Humans in 5.
And don't forget to subscribe!